Hello. Oh, welcome to Don't Say Cunt. I'm one of the hosts, Dave Foley, and across the table from me is, what do you want to say, Paul?
Who's across? Oh, me.
Oh, you.
Yes.
Oh, is it you?
I am also
One of the hosts.
I'm Paul.
I can't remember which one of the hosts you are.
I'm pretty sure I'm not Paul.
No?
Dave.
No, you just said you were Paul.
See, I don't know.
Well, all right. Well, this is Don't Say Cunt. Again, this is the show where we promise 45 minutes of conversation without the word cunt being used.
It's cunt free.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful cunt free.
Because as we understand it, it's a wonderful, it's our adopted cunt free.
That's right.
So it's...
I'm loyal to my cunt free.
Yes. Cunt free before party, I say.
Yes, that's right. I love cunt free and Western music.
Yep. And Comfrey Bogart, I love. I could watch Comfrey Bogart movies all day long, with Lauren Vagina.
The vagina. Yeah, I couldn't.
I'm not comfy. I'm a little bit rock and roll.
And
That's right.
Yeah, and then who's that, Paul?
Who's that?
That would be Jackie Harris Greenberg.
Jackie Harris Greenberg.
Who's a little bit cunt free.
I'm
a little bit comfy.
Yeah.
And
I'm a little bit rock and roll.
And who's that, Dave?
that's Crissy Guerrero.
That's me.
And who's the tinkling of the pinocles?
The contrapuntal piano playing.
Yes. Oh, wow. You're just showing off now.
Still.
That is the wonderful Eban Schletter, who is here all the time to make...
Eban Tinkle Keys.
Yeah, Eban
Schletter.
Eban is the wave upon which we ride.
Mm-hmm.
Eban is the... he is the antidote to awkward pauses.
Yes, he's the paste with which we brush our teeth.
Yes.
I'm
you
not
brush
very
your
good at
teeth
those
with
things.
paste?
I'm not good at... Well,
toothpaste. Yeah.
Wait a second.
Toothpaste.
Well, I am from 1806.
Yeah. You just use a big vat of LePage's.
Yeah, toothpaste.
Mucilage.
I remember some episode of kids making their own toothpaste and selling it of something.
An episode? An episode you had?
Well, it was a mental episode.
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah. Oh, they would just chew on a stick. Like Vikings. That's what Vikings did to keep...
gorillas do.
Remember there was a little animated... there was a cartoon when we were kids. I forget what it was. It was on the Uncle Bobby show. They did a thing about how people... Before toothbrushes... Vikings would clean their teeth by chewing on
their
a stick.
sticks.
I had a gym teacher that used to tell me that.
Yeah, and then he'd
In
put
private.
and then put a condom on a banana and stare at you intently.
Yeah, that was sex ed class. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. We had a teacher.
I was the only one in the class.
Our health teacher was 180 years old.
Yeah,
and he'd put the condom on a cucumber, and he'd say, "Grow the hell up! Stop giggling."
No.
That's really good.
I gotta do this every goddamn year.
I had a grade 4 teacher that whenever any noise would happen, he would just go, "This is pathetic." That's all I remember from that class.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir, I have a question. This is pathetic.
There's a lot of
Mr. Hambley.
A lot of people who go into the teaching trade, and as much as we all have to admit teachers are the true heroes, are really petty people.
So I have taught children a lot over the years.
Oh, well, then your point taken, Dave.
I was I can tend to be very petty. I was once teaching elementary school children an acting class.
Yeah.
And I was giving them some direction. They were, of course, just like all over the place and running around and loud and everything. And I finally lost it and we're like, "You guys are acting like children."
I hate when they do that.
One meek little child said, "But we are children."
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I think I'd start, if I was a teacher, I'd have to start every class with, first of all, fuck all y'all if you think you're going to talk while I talk.
That'd be good.
That should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should have been a teacher.
Maybe.
Teacher.
Yeah.
There's still time.
Dave, what would your subject been if you were a teacher?
If I was a teacher, oh my goodness. I would like to have been a science teacher, but I was a really terrible science student. So I'm not sure if that would help out with the kids.
Did you like the lab coat?
No, I loved science, but I hated science class. It was so boring. And they always said things as though they were facts. And I would keep going, "How do you know?" And then the teacher would get mad at me.
So you were the skeptic.
The teacher would get mad at me.
You were a skeptic in science class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better a skeptic in science class.
How do we know
than
there's gravity if
religion.
we can't see it?
Yeah, I kept saying,
Right.
how do you know the electron orbits the proton? How do you know it orbits like that?
Well,
And they
to
would
be
get mad
fair,
at me.
you were also born before the Renaissance.
Yes, yeah, and
So all that stuff was very odd.
and then it turns out atoms don't orbit atoms. They don't orbit the nucleus of an atom. They don't.
What do they do?
They exist in a wave function.
Oh, yes, that's true.
And what we consider to be the particle is just sort of
What's that noise?
an artifact of the.
Oh, that noise is half our audience
yeah.
leaving.
All right, there we go.
No, I actually enjoy
I felt
that.
the same.
Yeah.
I did it as a
I
cheap
don't
joke.
care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
I like pretty things.
Particles don't exist. That's my main thing. Matter doesn't exist.
Oh,
So,
God.
do I exist?
Nope.
God,
Oh, you in particular.
that explains why I'm feeling this way.
Is this going to be another one of those another dimension talks, or we've
Well, they
already
all
lived and
exist.
we're just a computer?
Well, that's the ancestor simulation theory.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's also called the Matrix.
The one that makes me cry.
Well,
that theory.
It's most likely true.
Oh, boy.
It
It is weird though how
You know, I
how
used to-
you think
just so you-
something and then it shows up some like thinking about.
Well, that's because you
something.
ordered it.
Right?
That's how
In the
Amazon
universe?
works.
That's how Amazon
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but what if it's in my head?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
Amazon
don't say it out
knows.
loud.
Well, that's schizophrenia.
Do you look at the picture for a long time?
No,
That's all Amazon needs now.
No, yes,
Just- yeah.
on the
True.
internet.
They'll
it's
turn on
true.
your camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
And
know where
monitor
you're looking.
your
They know
eyes.
where
We
your eyes are
actually,
looking.
we actually did that. We tested it the other
we
day.
talked about a
It
product,
was a very
and then it
specific
showed up
thing.
on our
I
Facebook
don't remember
feed.
what it was, but
Ah.
we wanted to test the theory.
By the
Yes,
way,
we
Amazon,
did.
if you want to be a sponsor, please let us know.
Yeah.
Because we know you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was,
Mr. Bezos.
I remember we had
Quilts.
this really fun. It was diarrhea medicine. No, I don't remember what we talked about, but it did
It was
show up.
quilts. It was a very specific thing.
Oh,
It was
Very
a
specific quilt.
It was a
Yes.
quilt that you
Was it
could.
the AIDS quilt?
It was nothing, but I do
was
remember
funnier.
the AIDS quilt was amazing. I remember the AIDS quilt. That made me cry. Fuck you guys. Fuck
Was it
you
the
all.
AIDS quilt?
God damn.
That is dark.
No, people can take T-shirts.
I think it's on. You can get it on Etsy now.
Can't buy-
You can buy the AIDS quilt on Etsy.
It's not the actual one. It's a
I
copy.
think it's the original.
It's a copy,
Yeah.
Dave.
And I'm
Dave.
I purchased Judy Chicago's The Dinner Party on Etsy as well.
the actual thing.
Yeah, the actual thing.
Wow.
Yeah, all those plates that look like vaginas, got them
Yeah.
all.
Wow.
You took a
You know
while to
what?
collect them all.
That is the worst way to have spaghetti
In a vagina?
on a vagina plate.
Well, on a
Well, it
vagina
depends
plate,
on-
yeah.
depends
or the
on
best
the
way.
vagina plate.
Or the best way.
On an actual vagina.
Yes.
Wow.
Better than I never got the sushi on a body thing. That always grossed me out.
Sushi on a body?
Yeah, you know the sexy parties where they'd have a hot nude model laying there, and she'd be covered in sushi,
Ugh.
and you'd take it off her.
I've never
That's
even.
not very
you guys don't know how to
hygienic.
live.
How do you think I paid my way through college?
I've never even understood wanting to do cocaine off of someone's ass. I never. That did.
Off their ass?
Yeah,
that's not
off of-
appealing.
Yeah, that's
to
what
me.
like
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra. They all did it. They would all always do
off
cocaine
ass?
off a girl.
hooker's ass.
Oh, see, I thought it was off a gym teacher's ass.
no.
Oh. Well,
A
see,
hairy
another thing I
ass.
Off
had
Sammy's
wrong.
ass.
Aw, Sammy.
Yeah.
But what if it was
He
like
also
a
ate fried
concave?
eggs off a hooker.
Yeah. Sammy?
I think.
Well,
No, Frank.
Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
That's
Fried
okay.
egg.
Eating them off the hooker is one
Yeah,
thing,
but
but cooking them on her is
Yes,
another.
that's just
is-
mean.
Wait, where would the fried eggs be?
Yeah.
And would they be soft?
I guess.
sunny side up.
I think they're sunny side up, but I
Eggs
guess
get
that's how
cold
you
very
know you've really made it,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that I haven't.
did it.
I haven't.
No.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess there were a lot of other indications that I hadn't made it too.
Well, yeah.
Well, the fact that you're doing this podcast probably is the number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
And that's
reason.
mine.
That was, yeah.
But
that
this
I,
is fun. We're
that I drive around looking at for sale signs on houses and weeping.
yeah.
What if you were the sushi model
Yeah.
Oh, you're back on the sushi.
and you got some weird
Disease.
disease?
Like the girl that died from having the gold paint on her in the Goldfinger
right. Well,
movie.
that's
Although
a myth.
I
That's
think
a
it's an
myth.
urban.
That's a
it's
myth,
an
yeah.
urban
myth.
She didn't
Yeah.
die. She just like ruined
But
some
then,
clothes
but it's
going
not
home.
a
Yeah.
weird. It's not a weird urban myth
She had
because
to take
what's
a lot
his
of
face with
showers.
the silver paint in
In what?
The Wizard of Oz actually became very ill and probably led to his death. Shorter or in a different way.
Yeah.
Tin
Oh.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. He was pretty old on Barney
Buddy
Jones.
Epson.
It was
Buddy
the,
Epson.
the lead paint.
Yeah. No, that was.
Was it lead?
Who's on Barnaby Jones?
That was the
Buddy Ebsen.
Yeah, not Buddy Ebsen.
That was the Scarecrow.
Oh, that was the Scarecrow. No, Buddy Ebsen.
No, Buddy Ebsen wasn't the Tin Man. He was Tin Man. He got fired.
He was the original Tin Man.
Yeah, but he was allergic to the paint, and that's why he. Didn't have
but
the
was he
job.
allergic to the paint, or was it a different paint and it almost killed him?
The other guy. Well, the other guy finished the movie.
I thought it was that he had a reaction to the paint, that it was something in the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
I don't
got
know that it was
sick.
specific to him, but yeah, it was because,
He would have been better. Just saying.
Because what was the name of the man who did play it? It was Jack.
Exactly.
It was Ed. It was Ed Begley. I'm pretty sure.
I love Ed Begley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
It was.
anybody want to take a bet on what the next ad is?
Oh, are we still getting those? Oh, wow. Let's hope so.
Otherwise, this will be really
Well,
awkward.
let's take a short break.
It's food
And
item.
Let's
I
take
bet
a,
it's food.
yeah, really short.
I bet it's food.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's find
All
out.
right, let's see.
All right.
Here we go. Well, that was surprising.
Well, that was
Yeah.
that was
I
shocking.
didn't see that.
Did
I didn't
not
see that coming.
No.
Shocking.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Well, I guess we just move on.
Mhm.
So, I did work at Area 52.
Area 52. Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
And what happened there? What sort of stuff went on in Area 52?
Well, at Area
it
52,
didn't get much press.
It did not, and
Didn't get much press at all.
myself and my coworkers are still a little upset that all
Yeah.
anybody ever wants to talk about is
Well, you didn't.
Area
You
51.
needed your own Bob Lazar, who
exactly
the guy who broke
our UFO expert.
the news on there.
But we didn't have
51.
UFO. We weren't working with UFOs.
Well, there's
and stuff
another
at Area
problem right
52.
there.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not going to get much press.
Mm.
Well, what were you doing at Area 52?
We were working with different ways to pack fast food.
And this was a black budget project for the U.S.
Yeah, I think
military.
so.
Yeah,
Did it have
Yeah, it was just
some-
like
Well, no,
we started with styrofoam,
yeah,
Did you
kept the
invent-
hamburgers very warm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now, see here, I'm thinking you may have benefited from not getting a lot of coverage.
Why you say that?
It might have been in your best interest that people didn't know about this.
Oh, well, next time you go have a Chipotle bowl, you're welcome.
They don't
Okay.
use styrofoam.
They don't use that. Yeah,
No, they got
I
That's
know. That's because we found out it was
90s.
bad at Area 52.
Oh,
Do the hamburgers melt into the styrofoam?
Yeah.
No, nothing really happened. It was a pretty bad job.
yeah.
I don't know. And scene. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Evan.
Yeah. But you did work with Grays.
Evan,
Mhm.
as a lawyer, how much of a bit, how long does a bit go before,
legally be a bit?
before you don't get your money back when you realize it's bad?
Oh,
When it fails.
Is it 50%? If I
And is it 50% when you leave the theater, or
Yeah.
for when you get hold of the manager? How much time?
If I go to a play
What are you time?
and
it
I'm
from?
like, I'm at 49% of this play, and I'm like, I don't like this play.
yeah.
It's not
Right.
good.
Let's say it was
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Before
Yeah.
intermission, you're saying?
I don't know, wherever
Or-
50% lands.
Let's say. Let's say it's Starlight Express.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect example.
I've never seen Starlight
I think
Express.
we should stick with
But
Hamilton.
I think, can I get my money back anyway? Because it's that bad.
Right.
Can people who have never seen Starlight Express get a
Or-
refund?
Right. Like, can you get your money back just on the basis of roller skates?
Yes.
Well, Evan,
in the case of Starlight Express, the roller skates makes it a definite yes. You can
Yes.
get your money back.
Yes. If you purchase roller skates.
In normal circumstances, I think it's just pi, 3.14 minutes.
Oh,
If you know,
I didn't know there was a formula for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I think they tried to get the
But-
years
Jeez,
of
that's not very
mathematically
much.
figuring it out.
yeah.
I don't know. The roller skates would be a bonus to me. I think you shouldn't get your money back if
It's
it's
like-
roller skates.
Well, what
'cause
if you
people-
bought roller skates because you thought, oh, it'd be great to be in Starlight Express?
Oh, and then you find out you
And
actually
then you
don't
find
get
it's
to
a
wear your
terrible-
roller, that
Yeah.
you're
and then you
observing
find out it's a
only.
horrible play.
What if you thought you were going to a place where they
Did
were
they
going to
ever
let you
make
wear
a
roller
movie
skates?
of Starlight Express?
Probably.
just as evidence.
Mhm.
I always mixed up Starlight Express and Xanadu.
They're both terrible, but try and tell that to my wife and daughter.
Well, should I try to tell it to them?
They insist on
it's not
enjoying
here.
Xanadu. They just will enjoy it.
You know what
And enjoy it again, and nothing I can do will stop them.
You know what I think is a really overrated movie, and I don't understand why people think it's one of the greats.
Which one?
Is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band with the Bee Gees.
Nobody
yes,
thinks
but
it's
produced by
great.
Robert Stigwood. Yeah.
You mean sarcastic?
See, this is why you guys don't get along.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing.
This
I
is why
really
you guys
liked it
fight
when
all
it
the
came
time.
out because
I
it had
never
Peter
liked it.
Frampton.
Yeah,
it had.
was terrible.
Oh,
What's happening? My goodness.
Oh my God.
We're talking
surprise guest.
What an odd coincidence.
And
a
it's maybe the
confluence.
greatest surprise guest of all
We're
time.
discussing great movies, and we're joined by the great film critic, one of the
greatest
few
film
great
critic.
film critics still left in this great world of ours. Leonard Maltin is
Leonard
here.
Maltin. What an honor.
How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I got here.
Yeah,
Which in Los Angeles is an accomplishment in itself.
Yes,
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, we were just discussing
We were talking movies
Robert
just
Stigwood's
now.
production of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
No one's idea of a great movie. I feel safe.
Where
to
do you
say.
think it failed? No.
Where did it succeed?
We don't have time.
No.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it since it was new.
Neither
That's
have I.
true.
I saw it in the
And
theater.
I remember liking pieces of it.
Yeah.
There's some segments that I thought were pretty good.
yeah.
And as in all these Beatle, jukebox musicals.
Yeah, there was
There's another
Across
one
the
coming,
Universe.
so-
There was that one a few years back.
Uh-huh.
Is this the Danny Boyle movie you're talking about?
Is he doing a,
Yeah.
Is he doing a Beatle movie?
He's doing a movie about a guy who hits his head and wakes up, and he's the only one that knows Beatles songs.
And the Beatles never existed?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he knows
Oh.
all their catalog
Mm-hmm.
and plays it. And
Yeah.
everybody thinks he's
I
writing
think
everything.
he's a genius.
Oh.
That's kind of brilliant.
I kind of like that.
Called Being Sort of There.
Yeah.
Right. Right. That's interesting. Your book and all the different versions of your book I worked in the world's biggest
Biggest bookstore.
video store in Canada.
Video store.
Oh, my
okay.
gosh.
I worked at Sam the Video Man, which is in Sam the Record Man. That was
Yeah.
it's gone. But whenever anybody would come in and ask for a movie, they would ask our opinion, and all we would ever do is get out your book and give them your opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I know it was a staple in video stores.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Some people would haul their own along to the store, and others had it on a chain in the store, like a pen at a bank. You couldn't walk away with. It's all very flattering.
It's probably the most dog-eared book ever published. I'm guessing. Yeah.
Possibly.
But you would always buy it again because of all the fresh. You had to have it with all the new movies.
Mhm.
It was like a
Right.
brilliant.
Updated.
It was brilliant because you always needed the new copy.
We used to use it in Second City in the improv set. We'd get the book out and we'd play a game with the audience. And we'd have them flip and name a page number and then have them zoom in on and act it out.
That's right.
It was really
Yeah.
fun.
That's
Well,
right.
Doug Benson plays a game on his Doug Loves
does
Movies
he?
podcast.
There are infinite games apparently derived from the book. One is kind of a bluff game where you play it in teams like charades, and you look up a title and then invent a synopsis for it.
Oh, that's great.
There's another one where you three different people devise synopses for a title, and you have to guess which is the real one and which ones
is
are
true or
bogus.
fake.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Doug
great.
Benson's is the toughest one,
Mhm.
and I'm the world's worst player of that game, which bears my name. But my brain just doesn't sort information that way. His was kind of a name that tune idea where you'd say, here are three Willem Dafoe movies, one from 1998, one from 2004, one from 2013. And you'd pick one. I'll take the one from 2004. Okay. Leonard lists 11 cast members in his review. How many names do you need to know in order to name it? But you'd bid, but you get them in reverse order.
Yes.
Oh, from the word, from the
worst. Yes,
smallest
yes,
part
from the
to
lowest build upward. And people like Sam Levine. Sam Levine is like a savant playing this game.
Yes.
He can bid negative numbers and still get the answers.
But in every other way, his life is terrible.
Our son reads the 2013 version every night in bed.
Yeah, Crissy and I have a sex role-playing game based on your book.
Well,
For some reason, I always wind up being Barbara Stanwyck.
gee.
Because your attitude.
I have
should be
nothing to add to
I
that.
don't know. I think it's because of my legs.
I'm curious. Do you remember the first movie you reviewed? Or one
First
of them?
movie I reviewed.
Yeah.
Like
Got paid to review?
Got paid to review.
And not just annoyed your family about.
Right.
But actually
Just
got
not your
paid.
opinion, but yeah.
I don't, because I didn't set out to be a critic. I mean, my first love was movie history and remains my first love. And so that's what I was doing as a kid, as an adolescent, was writing articles about Buster Keaton and Douglas Fairbanks and Charlie Chaplin and such. And I don't think I wrote a review until I got into college. I went to New York University, and we had a daily newspaper there. And I started writing actual reviews for our paper. And it was rough. Well, actually, it was exactly the same time that I got the job to devise or compile the first edition of that movie guide.
Oh, really?
I was 17 years old.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
Oh my God. That's a collector's item.
I was 17 years old when a teacher in my high school, an English teacher, who I didn't even have classes with, but she knew of this fanzine that I was publishing. Fanzine, old-fashioned term for
I've heard of it.
amateur magazine. And she said, I have a friend who's an editor at Signet Books in New York. This was in the suburbs in New Jersey. I have a friend who's an editor at Signet Books in New York. You should call him up after school one day, go to see him. I think the two of you would hit it off. And I've told this story so many times, but
Not here.
So I went to see him, made an appointment, took the bus over the George Washington Bridge, the subway downtown, went to see him, and I brought some copies of the magazine to give him. And it turned out he already knew the magazine and didn't associate me with it, and I didn't associate his name with anybody who had subscried to it. I don't know why we were all in the dark that way. But he said, do you know this book, Movies on TV? and there was such a book.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I use it every day. He said, what do you think of it? I said, well, it's okay as far as it goes. He said, what would you do differently? And I knew this book inside and out. I said, well, I'd put more cast names. He only has like 2 cast names for a movie. I'd list the director, and I'd tell you the running time, so you know if the local TV station is cutting it down or cutting it to shreds.
Yeah.
And I'd say if it's in color or black and white, which in those days mattered more,
Right.
Yeah.
more relevant than it is today, and et cetera. And I said all this stuff, and he said, well, how'd you like to do it? I said, what do you mean? He said, how would you like, I'm trying to do a rival book. How would you like to do it? I said, well, I guess so. And essentially he hired me on the spot.
Wow.
And
The rest is history.
the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That was a 45-year run.
Wow, that's amazing.
45 years.
What did your family say when you went home and told them that? Did
Well,
think-
they were as dumbfounded as I.
They think
And-
it was
and-
real?
And what?
They thought you were never going to amount to anything.
And then the editor, who became a lifelong friend and had a good long life, just passed away a few years ago, and out here. So my wife and I got to see him in his later years. He said to me, so what are you going to do now? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I've just given you a job. What are you going to do now? I said, well, I'm about to graduate from high school and I've been accepted at NYU. I'm going to go to college. He said, why? I said, I just hired you to write a book. I said, well, I know, but I was such a square. I said, but I'm supposed to go to college. And I'm glad I did. Not so much for I was a journalism major and that was worthwhile.
Yeah.
It was all the courses were taught by working journalists, and that really was valuable. And I got to cherry pick some film classes. That was fun. And then I got to work on the paper, which was really the best part of being there. And I made great friendships there, and it was a good experience.
I'm curious, actually. I have your book because, it was such a huge part of our lives, this book, because you never don't reference it, especially when you're watching TV back when you didn't know when something was going to show up.
And there was no internet.
And is there a movie or one movie out there that has got like the worst bum rap ever that you think is a great movie and everybody just...
Oh, gee. Well, I just, as we're speaking, I just, with my family, put on a film festival this past weekend.
Just going to ask you
called Maltin Fest at the
I'm
Egyptian
excited.
Theater here in Hollywood. And the whole point of the festival was showing movies that were underrated.
Yeah.
And films that we thought deserved a bigger audience than they got.
How many of my films were in the festival?
Brain candy.
So that's a recurring theme in my work. I wrote a book called The 151 Best Movies You've Never Seen.
I know it. Yep.
So, there are too many to know. Well, but the poster child for this festival and for all this was our opening night movie. We had a late afternoon movie, which was Please Give by Nicole Holofcener. Great film.
Mm-hmm.
And then we showed Sing City. Sing Street, my brain.
Oh, Sing Street.
Sing Street.
Yeah.
John Carney's film.
Oh, yeah.
And
I don't know it.
people, you got to see it,
That a
Dave.
couple years ago,
It was
right?
awesome. It was
Yes.
an awesome movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's
that
a
was
great
movie.
movie.
I didn't see
And
it.
I
I
had
loved
the
it.
thrill of sitting there watching it again on the giant screen at the Egyptian and watching the whole audience fall in love with this movie. And almost none of them had seen it before. And they embraced this movie. And at the end, no one got up during the credits because they reprised all the songs on the track.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they wanted to hear them again, and they clapped along with one of them. And then when it was over, everyone went outside to the lobby and the courtyard outside, and we were serving Maltinis at the bar.
Nice.
And
Can I get one of those now?
and everybody stayed and talked to each other.
Oh, how nice.
And which is what my daughter, who really put this whole festival idea together, she said that's what she wanted, was a sense of community. There's nothing wrong with watching films at home. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's a convenience.
It's more fun watching
we all
it.
do it, but it's more fun if you're watching it with the right audience, not
Yes.
just an audience, but a like-minded audience.
Yeah.
And that's what we had. We had just a great time.
I mean, rep theaters were the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back in
it
high
is.
school.
You know, I mean, we had the
Mhm.
Bloor Theater in Toronto, which was
Cinema
in the
5 in
Kingsway out
Montreal.
West End.
because you
Mhm.
couldn't see those movies
Yeah.
otherwise. They didn't show up on TV. There were a bunch of Hitchcocks, I remember, that never
Yeah.
showed up on TV.
Well, I remember seeing
Rear
Seven
Window
Samurai
and all
there.
those.
And,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you
I
could
mean,
go see a movie for $1.
that's how I
Yeah.
ended up loving movies, was because of that theater.
Mhm.
And, I remember seeing a really weird Art Garfunkel movie,
Bad
Bad Timing,
Bad
Essential
Timing,
Succession.
Yeah.
Nick Rogue. Yeah.
That was a strange movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But where else would I have seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But amazing.
Before home video.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I think a movie Kevin McDonald and I always talk about a movie that got really maligned that is actually really good. It was Ishtar.
Well, there's a whole range of opinions about Ishtar, but Jesse and I, who do our podcast called Maltin on Movies, we got to interview Paul Williams last year. We had a great time with him. And I asked him the question that many people have been asking for decades. When are we going to get a cast album, an original soundtrack album from that film with those hilariously funny, ingenious songs?
Brilliant.
The lyrics were
that
amazing.
he and his partner wrote. And that's my favorite aspect of the film.
Yeah. Well, but it's like it's a great Elaine May script
Mm-hmm.
and
Directed.
but I remember at the time it got reviews for its budget.
Yes,
More than anything else.
unfortunately,
Anything.
it did. Yeah, it was kind of
Because
a
it cost
big
$40 million.
big sitting duck at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of what would you call it? A lot of gossip making.
Yeah, it was mostly, you
making
heard about
print.
the making of it for about a year. before.
Exactly.
Yes. But it was all that Hollywood's become bloated beyond its endurance.
Mhm.
How can you spend $40 million making a movie, which now is laughable?
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's a lower
They used to do
budget.
that a lot back then, where you'd hear about a movie for about a year before it came out. If it was a big deal like Apocalypse Now,
Mhm.
I remember reading about it constantly.
And they started making it before the Vietnam War.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what? They were just lucky.
Yeah. Because it
That
would have
it was
made
about
no
that.
sense at all.
Yeah. They were like,
Anyway, we're still waiting for those songs from Ishtar.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Paul.
In fact, I'm not sure. I hope there's an album from Sing Street. I'm not sure if there is, but
I
they're
don't know.
great
Oh,
songs.
that was a great movie.
Who was in Sing Street?
No, that's it. Nobody.
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 With the leading lady, Lucy Boynton, is now making a name for herself. She was in
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, yes.
A beautiful young woman. And
Great.
my daughter knows what the young leading man is doing now. He's on a show. He's on a series. But there, so it was tough to promote, I'm sure. When you don't have stars, it's always tough to sell a film.
Yeah.
But this one is such a charmer.
I have to see that.
Do you have some favorite directors
Alina would
out
love
right
it.
now?
Yeah, she would.
Like newer people?
Jeff Nichols.
I don't know Jeff Nichols.
Who's Jeff Nichols?
He made my favorite film of 2013, Mud.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful movie. And it came out in the spring of that year. And when I would try to tout it to people, they say, well, who's in it? I say, well, Matthew McConaughey. And they go, oh. And then that fall came the McConaissance.
Yes.
Right.
Well, he turned up in Wolf of Wall Street and then Dallas Buyers Club, which obviously...
The McConaissance.
And so the timing was just off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other good people in it too. Reese Witherspoon has a smallish but important role. Sam Shepard is in it.
Yeah.
Jeff Nichols is a very talented writer-director. Mud is a great, great movie. He did about the interracial couple.
Loving?
Loving, exactly.
That was a great
one. And also Midnight Special.
Oh, really?
That was Midnight.
No. The new one called Midnight.
I don't know that one.
Paul got really excited there for a second.
I thought it was the old
Midnight
Yeah.
Special.
No.
It's the story of Gary Muledeer's rise to fame.
He's a very talented guy, and I'm he's on my radar big time to see what he has next up his sleeve. And he works. It's kind of Michael Shannon is kind of his good luck charm,
Right.
and is in all of his movies, including the one that I can't remember the name of that came before Mud. I'm having a brain blip tonight as I'm sitting here with
I
you.
want to be someone's good luck charm.
I'd like that.
Nice.
Like John
sure.
Ratzenberger for
Right.
Pixar.
I'm tired of being
exactly.
everybody's bad luck charm.
Yeah. I'm Pixar's shameful secret.
That's true. Yeah. You are.
Now I worked with a man who's been acclaimed as the worst director of all time, Uwe Boll. Have you seen any of his movies?
I have not.
Then keep your soul clean.
Okay.
I remember I was in a movie years ago that was directed by a guy whose father paid for the movie.
I've done one
Lucky
of those.
guy.
I did one of those.
Yeah,
Lucky
I
guy.
think his father was a businessman.
That
and
movie was
and
epic.
He put he put the movie together, and we always wondered, how did this guy get to direct this movie? And then we finally found out his dad's paying for it.
But everybody was in it.
Everybody. It had Kevin. I was in it with Kevin. It was the godson,
Dom DeLuise.
Dom
The Dom
DeLuise.
DeLuise
And he hired all these old
Is that
Rodney
when
Dangerfield? Don DeLuise asked
Rodney
you to sit on his lap.
Dangerfield. Yeah, it was a Godfather parody, but it was classically, amazingly horrible.
Well, people talk about Michael Bay sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or our son.
But he has a distinction. He's the only director, good or bad, in history who has had a song sung about him in a major motion picture.
What do you mean?
Which one?
Think about it.
A song about Michael Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Standing on the dock of the bay?
No. Not a pun.
Okay.
An actual
Animated?
song about Michael Bay.
This is
About
good.
Michael Bay.
Is it an animated movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, is it
South
the
Park?
Lego movie?
No.
Is it South Park?
It's the
It's the South Park guys.
second one.
It's
their second film.
Oh, the
Team America.
Team America.
That's right.
Team America.
See,
Which is
come
a
on.
great
I
movie.
kind of
Good
win.
one,
I was
Jeff.
Kinda
cheating and
win.
looking it up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
Very
Team
funny movie with
America.
with a
love
very
Team America.
outrageously funny song about Michael Bay.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Who does that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt and Trey.
That's
Team
right.
America
That's right.
is kinda
Clever, those
brilliant.
And on that note, let's take a little pause
Little
here.
pause. Okay.
Great.
Leonard, would you like to take a bet on, or make a guess into what our ad might be? We don't know what they are. So we like to guess.
They
I
get
don't know.
dropped in.
Could it be
Yeah.
Castro convertibles?
Well, let's find out.
Oh.
Good guess.
Well, that turned out to be a pretty lousy guess.
Yeah. That was
Way to go.
completely
Way to
off.
go, Leonard.
That was like
Yeah.
not
Way to
even
go.
close.
And you hold yourself out as an expert.
Jesus.
I forget what, maybe you're not in that subject.
Not in
but still.
all areas.
Gonna burn
all
your 2013 They're going to burn that tonight.
I actually have I have a question.
Oh, Paul
You
has a
do?
question.
Yes.
Paul,
Well,
pause a
Paul.
question, everyone.
The thing that's around now that wasn't around, in the 80s and the 90s is
My career.
and it's still not
Yeah.
around, is the rating system of this percentage thing
Ugh.
that the Rotten Tomatoes thing, basically.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
you get a number
Yeah.
on a movie.
Yeah.
And do you think that
And
works?
films rise or fall based on their Rotten
Yeah.
Tomato score now.
Well, I'm a tomato.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are.
You're a top critic.
I don't.
The top critic.
That's right, but I don't review that many movies lately. I'm gotten choosier, and I don't have a gig. I don't have a regular slot on a publication or on a TV show. I write for my website, And since I'm my own boss, I don't have to go see a lot of junk that comes along. So I'm very choosy.
That's called making it.
Yeah. So, I'm not in the average or the aggregate of a lot of different films, but on the ones I review, I am there. So I remind people that who think that film critics are obsolete or irrelevant, and a lot of people do feel that in the social media age, that if there are no critics, there'll be no Rotten Tomatoes anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they count on Rotten Tomatoes as a guide of some sort, I don't think it's a bad thing, and I don't think it's inaccurate either or irrelevant, because if something gets, Sing Street has a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes. That says there's a pretty large consensus of people who think this is an exceptional film.
It also says there's 5 people out there who are insane for not liking it.
Because when I'm looking for movies on iTunes, I will look at the Rotten Tomato scores for movies that I haven't heard of. And usually if it's a really low score,
if it's extremely high or extremely low, I think that does send a message.
Yes.
Right.
Just as Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert had their thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah. Right.
And they took a lot of heat for that. How can you summarize all the nuances of a film in a thumb up or thumb down? Well, it was shorthand, just like the ratings in my movie guide were shorthand. And if you're not reading further, if you're not exploring more in more depth what the critics had to say about it, then you're just left with the shorthand.
Yeah.
And
that's what, on Rotten Tomatoes, I'll always dig into the actual reviews.
Yeah.
Like go through and find the critics whose reviews I like.
I probably would never have seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil if it weren't for the Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
I mentioned that film the other day.
I love that
film.
And
then you certainly wouldn't have seen it 5 times.
Well, true. It's true. Yeah. And
it's a terrific movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. I remember that with the TV guide, you'd get like 3 stars. That would be, you'd know, oh, this is worth watching.
Oh, yeah, 3. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I think, back to your book, I remember seeing certain movies that I'd never heard of, circling them because you had given them such high ratings. Remember one, I'm like, is Gun Crazy?
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing Gun Crazy.
Which was hell of a movie.
That was insanely good.
Yes.
But, I guess it's a good system that, I
didn't want to do it. My editor said, no, you've got to. I said, why? I don't want to have to arbitrarily come up with ratings. He said, people love it. It's shorthand and people love it. He was right.
Yeah.
And I know from the reaction I got over the years, especially in the early years, in 1 week's time, I had 2 different people stop me in the streets of New York. One said, what I do with your book? I said, what? He said, I take your review and I double the rating, and then I know if I'm going to like it or not. I said, well, whatever works, fine.
Wow.
And I swear, days later, somebody said, you know what I do? I said, what? He said, I cut your rating in half, and then I'll know if I'm going to like the movie. That's absolutely true. So, it's just an opinion. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a qualified opinion.
An opinion from someone who knows what they're talking about.
Because the internet, talk about Rotten Tomatoes and rating, and that everybody's a critic now. Our son, who's a big movie fan and very much obsessed with ratings, he qualifies by who's giving the rating. So
Metacritic.
You raised him right.
He gives, he'll give status to people who are.
He also looks at the audience score and the Metacritic score and
balance, does the math, weighs it. Well, I don't think I'm going to see that. And I go, well, fuck you. Because we're going to John Wick. And you don't have to come.
That's right. It's got 98%.
We don't care because it's Keanu shooting a lot of people.
And our daughter just picks movies by whether they're 80s teen movies.
Oh.
Yes.
She's going to run out.
It's amazing the endurance that those films have had.
It's true.
Yeah.
It surprises me.
A resurgence.
Well, no, they've never gone away.
No, that's true.
They've really never gone away, those John Hughes movies in particular.
Yeah. I remember not liking them in the 80s.
Oh, well, I loved them.
I had some
Ferris Bueller was one of the best movies ever when I saw it. I just loved it so much.
I'm a little older than you, and I
hated it. Here we go.
I remember having misgivings about some of those films. They all had their strengths, but I felt that they were uneven. I guess that's the best word to describe it.
Sure.
But they have been embraced.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Fully embraced.
They really tapped into the teens of the time.
Well,
That's what
the
it
Breakfast
is, and
Club,
teens
I
now.
thought,
Breakfast Club.
was right on the money.
The best of the genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But like the parade scene in Ferris Bueller is just
it's a
awful.
great scene.
Oh, I was thinking it's awful.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it's a fantasy.
It's fun. It's a fantasy,
sequence.
right?
Yeah.
It's- But it's also, I mean, Ferris himself is, fantasy teenager,
The part
right?
where-
the kid that gets away with everything.
And of course, I'd already seen Alfie. So,
Oh, well.
yeah.
And I thought
Very
the part where
mature
Who am
Fury.
I?
Yeah.
the part where Ferris Bueller drops the crystal thing and says Rosebud, I thought that was stupid.
Well, yeah. You must have been tired that day.
Yeah, I think so. See, that depends on your review, right? Depending on your mood, I would think.
Well, it's true. That's the tough part is powering through that,
Right.
you know, and
Just because you haven't eaten doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
It's true.
Mhm. I'm trying to remember something. If I think you were interviewed by this guy from Canada at some point, Elwy Yost.
oh, yes.
Do you remember Elwy?
Oh, I was on a show more than once.
Yes, I remember to see you on because you
He's-
Saturday
he's a-
night at the movies.
He's a Canadian treasure.
Best.
Yeah.
Elwy.
He came
Yeah.
here
His
and
father's
he would
Graham
bank a whole bunch of interviews for a season.
Yes.
And he would
Magic
ask me about
Shadows.
a number of different films
Mhm.
so that he could use
But
them.
he would have like you on, and then Jimmy Stewart. You know,
Oh,
he'd
yeah.
run. You know, he'd have Henry Fonda discussing, how the West was not how the West was won. Once Upon a Time in the West.
Mhm.
He had a
Yeah.
show where he'd show 1/5 of a movie every night.
Yeah, he had
So
two.
you'd
Yeah,
see-
What?
It was called Magic
Yeah.
Shadows. So you'd
they
see
serialized the
1/5 of a
movie.
movie, and by Friday you'd seen the whole movie. And I
Yeah.
saw Kind Hearts and Coronets that way. I
Yeah.
remember, and it was like,
One kind heart at a time.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was like
yeah.
But you
your
couldn't
brain
miss
somehow
it.
put it together, but
Yeah.
it was pretty
And
confusing.
Saturday night he'd have two movies that'd be on a theme,
Mhm.
and then he would have the interviews in between the movies. And it was like, and in those days nobody was doing this. There was like no there was nowhere to see there's nowhere you would see John Ford being interviewed.
Right.
His
Yeah.
son Graham Yost became
Oh,
a
very
powerhouse.
successful screenwriter,
Yeah.
producer. Uh-huh.
hmm
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's I was wondering if you knew Elwy, because
Elwy was a lovely guy.
he was a beautiful man. Yeah,
Yeah.
he used to come and give lectures at my high school.
Mhm.
And I remember winning a prize because I was the only one in the class who could remember the last line from King Kong.
Oh.
Which is
Oh.
It wasn't
Twas
beauty.
killed-
It wasn't the planes killed the beast. It was beauty killed the beast. It wasn't the planes. 'Twas beauty killed
Twas
the
It
beast.
was Beauty Killed the Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Robert
That's
Armstrong.
Yeah.
nice.
yeah.
It's a nice memory of
Yeah.
getting that award.
Yeah.
and
Is that like your
Elwy
only
Yost.
good memory? Dave?
That's it from
is.
childhood. Yeah.
That's pretty it, right?
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Extent
You
of
have
it.
one. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet boy. Oh, sweet Canadian
Yeah.
boy.
And then what happened when you brought the award home to your parents?
You know what? Stop it, Paul.
Yeah.
Stop it.
What'd your dad say?
Stop it.
He beat me around the head with it.
Oh, Jesus. There we go.
Yeah.
Who's this
Oh, there's that
Elwy
other.
Yost
There's that
character?
other good memory. That time my dad mistimed his punch.
That was a good one. He got his own knuckles bruised that day, I'll tell you.
And did your mom say, "Don't make a fuss"?
Don't fuss.
Don't
Yeah.
fuss. Don't make a fuss,
Oh,
Dave.
let it be, Dave.
Don't make
Just
a fuss.
walk away.
My mom was English.
Mhm.
Don't make a fuss, Dave. Your
That's
teeth will
not-
grow
Yeah.
back.
That was the closest thing she had to a philosophy was, oh, don't fuss.
Dave and I in our shared childhood memories. Best not say anything. Oh, Daddy's not home. Off you go then. Why? Where's Daddy? Oh, best not make a fuss.
Oh, when I was a kid,
Yes, you guys had
I
a
used to
dad.
borrow records from my local public library. This is a complete tangent now.
Yep. All
Good.
right.
I like it.
And I brought home the original cast album of Beyond the Fringe
Oh,
Oh, God, yeah.
and committed it to memory. I played it
Oh my God,
so
yes.
many times. But that's what you just reminded me of. But put on a kettle, have a nice cup of tea. And it was the answer to almost any
Any problem.
problem. Yeah.
That's how they defeated Hitler.
It's true.
Yeah,
A
that's
nice
right.
cup of tea always makes
Put on a
everything all
cuppa.
right.
Right.
Have a
tea.
cuppa.
Have a wee
Keep calm and
cuppa.
carry on. There you are.
That's right.
Yep. Yep. Oh, the British are stupid.
Wow.
He's just kidding, British fans.
You know what's
Both
nice
British
though?
fans just stop listening.
When we have surprise, usually it's always a surprise guest, which is fun because the boys don't have to do
They don't-
homework and
yeah.
prepare because they're very lazy.
It's really great.
It was really amazing seeing them light up when you walked in. That was pretty.
yeah.
Oh,
pretty
it's very
amazing.
flattering.
I was hoping Jessie'd be here because I want to see her hair in person.
She's always
Her hair,
Yes, you
it's-
do.
I'm
Yes,
always
you do.
that girl. I'm starting to bother her. I think I'm always like, how'd you do that? Hit like.
She has rainbow hair.
She is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
hair.
And it is not effort free.
No.
No.
It takes some
It's
doing.
And
skill.
she's
That's
and
some skill.
even if you go deeper than the hair,
Yeah.
She's quite delightful.
She's very delightful.
I'm
a delightful woman.
I'm parked in
I'm
the
a Jessie
hair.
fan.
Nice young
Yeah,
woman
me
under
too.
that head of hair.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great
Yeah.
that you get to work together.
What you see with me is nothing but effort.
Yeah.
and hair.
And this is what we got.
Nothing but effort and hair.
5:30 in the morning, Paul's in the makeup truck.
That's right.
He has a makeup truck at
I'll
home.
be out in a minute.
I'm doing my hairs.
But I'm I wish that wasn't untrue.
Just brushing my
Well.
back.
Oh.
Well, I hear Eban
Tinkling
very
the ivories.
just sort
Well,
of
the
trying to lead us to the conclusion of this show, and we want to thank you so much for being here, Leonard. This
My
is
pleasure.
A complete
always
thrill.
Absolute
Yeah.
delight. We want to thank folks who helped put the show together today: Dustin Knaus, Kaylin Rushing, and Lauren Afner. And of course, everyone here, but you've already heard their names, so screw them. So until the next time,
See you next Tuesday.